If you keep studying without that viewpoint, you may find that after 1 month or even a year of effort, you haven't improved as much as you expected. 여러분, 안녕하세요. This is Tammy. Today I'd like to talk about how long it actually takes to become fluent in Korean. I often get asked, how many months does it take to become fluent in Korean? Many of you watching this video may have the same question. Just like with English, language learning can feel endless, so learners want a concrete sense of how much effort it takes to truly master it. I remember when I first started studying Korean seriously, thinking all the time, I want to be fluent as soon as possible. However, there's a big trap hidden in that common way of asking, how many months does it take to become fluent in Korean? What's missing from that question is a crucial viewpoint of making progress in Korean. If you keep studying without that viewpoint, you may find that after 1 month or even a year of effort, you haven't improved as much as you expected. So in this video, I'll explain that important viewpoint and as a conclusion, give you a realistic estimate of how long it takes to become fluent in Korean. Two missing pieces are 1. A concrete definition of your goal, and 2. A correct way to calculate your study load. Once you understand these two deeply, you can definitely improve your Korean skills in a short period of time. Now, let's talk about how to clearly define your goal and calculate your study load correctly. 그럼 시작할게요. First, let's talk about goal setting. What does fluent even mean in this question? Does it mean being able to shop while traveling in Korea, effortlessly handling daily conversation, or being capable of studying or getting a job in Korea? Even though I can interpret simultaneously between English and Korean, there are still plenty of words and expressions I don't know. Fluency actually has many levels, and the time it takes to reach fluency varies greatly depending on the level you are aiming for. Although the term is used constantly in language learning, very few people can define it clearly. That's why it's such a vague word, and that's the first trap. In learning and in anything, if your goal is vague, you can never truly reach it. Painful. 아파요. So if you're going to study Korean seriously, you need to set a more specific target. Better yet, define what fluent means for you. Here's my definition. Listening, reading, and writing at a TOPIK level 6 passing standard plus speaking at that same level. People often associate fluency with speaking, but setting a goal like I can speak but I can't read at all isn't realistic. Even if we use the word fluency, we are really talking about all 4 skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking being at a certain level. A clear benchmark is, of course, an exam. Ta-da! In the case of Korean, TOPIK level 6, the highest level is a solid goalpost for Korean language learners. To pass TOPIK 2 at level 6, you need at least 230 out of 300 points in total across listening, reading, and writing, each worth 100 points. This means that if your only goal is to pass, you could technically get as low as 50 in one section like writing and still make up for it by scoring 90 in the other 2 like listening and reading. That's not what I mean. By level 6 standard, I mean at least 80 points in each section. Listening 80, reading 80, and writing 80. TOPIK mainly tests reading, listening, and writing. But if you can also speak at the same level as those writing tasks, that's fluency in my book. For example, the final writing prompt in 60th TOPIK asks you to discuss the pros and cons of early childhood education and takes a position with reasons. If you can answer that question in Korean for about 2 minutes, that's what I consider true fluency. Of course, this is my personal definition, but now fluency has become much more concrete and you have a clear standard for whether you've achieved it. Next, I'm going to talk about the calculation. Don't measure your study load in months or years. Let's assume that you are learning English as your second language. If someone asks, how many years have you studied English? And you say, 10 years, 3 years in junior high, and 3 years in high school, and 4 years in college, then a native speaker might think, 10 years and this is your English level? If you've studied for 10 years, I'd expect you to speak more fluently. In other words, that person expects more English fluency because you said you've studied English for 10 years. The mistake is this: you may have been exposed to English for 10 years, but you did not study it all day, every day for 10 years. The same logic applies to the Korean language. Your study load must be measured in hours or minutes, not months or years. Don't say I studied Korean for 1 year. Say I studied 365 hours. This way of thinking is standard for many qualification exams. People often say about 500 hours for one license, about 800 hours for another. If you divide the total required hours by the days until the exam, you know how many hours you must study per day. If you want to pass a certain exam in a year and it requires 800 hours, that's a little over 2 hours a day. If you only manage 1 hour a day, then plan for 2 years. Serious test takers track their workload in hours. The same should be true for Korean language. Yet very few people track their Korean study by hours or minutes. That's the second trap. If you don't do this, you won't know how much effort remains to reach your goal, and you won't be able to tell whether you are studying efficiently compared to others. So make a habit to log your Korean study in hours, ideally minutes each day. Set weekly or monthly hour targets. Tracking your progress in a visible way will make you feel more motivated. Then you might ask, how long does it take to be fluent in Korean? Starting from zero, how long does it take to reach fluency as I defined it? The answer is about 1,000 hours. I've tested this to the students from all around the world, and the average is 1,000 hours. Individual results vary, but with the right method, 1,000 focused hours can get anyone to fluency. A rough breakdown might be 200 hours to master beginner, 300 hours to master intermediate, 400 hours to master advanced, 100 hours to strengthen speaking, for a total of 1,000 hours. So if you are starting from scratch and study 3 hours a day, you can be fluent in 1 year. Let's calculate your personal timeline. First, assess your current level by total hours studied and progress. In this example, let's say you've mastered a beginner. That leaves 800 hours. Next, consider how many hours per day you can realistically study given your life. Many students or working adults can manage about 2 hours a day, so let's use 2. Now divide the remaining 800 hours by 2 hours a day, about 400 days. That gives you a realistic estimate of when you can expect to reach fluency. Doing this calculation has big benefits. You'll know where you are now and when you are likely to reach each level. For self-learners, especially, the hardest part is often not feeling your progress. Visualizing the overall roadmap of language acquisition is incredibly motivating. Actually, when I coach my students, I use this progress sheet to check students' progress. Students write how many hours it took to study, and this sheet calculates a total study hours. By doing so, students can visualize their progress every day. Another benefit is that you stop riding the emotional roller coaster of language learning. Maybe you see someone who started at the same time speed ahead, or you hear that someone became fluent in no time and you feel discouraged. In most cases, those who progress quickly simply have more time to devote to Korean. If you study abroad and immerse yourself in the local language, it's no surprise if you become fluent in just a year. By measuring in hours, not months or years, you realize that self-learners, classroom learners, and study abroad learners are all climbing the same 1,000-hour staircase step by step. Here's one important note. Quality matters as much as quantity. If your methods are wrong or your study time isn't focused, 1,000 hours won't make you fluent. Conversely, with highly efficient methods, you may need fewer than 1,000 hours. In summary, I estimated how long it takes to become fluent in Korean and highlighted two crucial perspectives for language learning: clear goal setting and tracking study time in hours. If you can't fully understand this video the first time, watch it several times and make it your own. And some of you might be thinking, wow, I'm not sure I can understand and remember all of this. If that's the case, I highly recommend checking out my Fast Korean program. I'll give you full support until you truly understand Korean. Announcements about Fast Korean coaching program are shared occasionally through my newsletter. And just between us, I never post my special offers publicly. So if you'd like to access to exclusive deals and updates, make sure to register my newsletter and stay tuned for my messages there. And there's more! Those who register on my newsletter this time will also receive an amazing bonus gift. I'm giving away 5 premium Korean learning resources, a total of 6,199 pages of materials for free to those who register through my new newsletter. This is a limited time offer, so make sure to register via the link in the description box before it disappears. Thank you so much for watching to the end again. I'll continue sharing helpful tips for learning Korean in the future as well. See you again in the next video. 그럼 오늘도 행복 가득 웃음 가득한 하루 되세요. 한국어 파이팅 파이팅 파이팅!